Okay. Hello there, people. I am. I am waiting for Fresno PD. So what has happened is I was assaulted by the neighbor next door. I don't know his name, but it's over. Yeah. I just. Is this Stephanie? Yes. Okay. I just wanted to let you know that I'm still waiting for the police, and I just went live because um, so I hope they show up fairly soon, and Michael comes back as well because the world is watching. All right, thank you. So, um, Saturday, the cops were here. You saw part of that, um, and it is again over this issue here. So the city now wants to. They just don't want to deal with the property line anymore. So they'll just tow the RV. That's what they want to do now. Just tow the RV. They don't want to solve the, fence issue. They just want pesky citizen to comply, comply, comply. So, I'm told to get a surveyor by the city employee that was just here, Michael Car Carbajal, CRB. Anyway, um, he's supposed to be coming back here, but yeah, he told me to get a surveyor. So I'm supposed to pay for a surveyor rather than them showing me where this fence is permitted. He doesn't want to show where the fence is not permitted because that's another case for him, I guess. More work. I don't know. I don't know. But I have, officially FOIA'd and tried to get this fence permit, which I don't think exists. So, the lines are in dispute, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they didn't get anything. They just went off the existing. So I have no idea. Um, and they don't seem to care. So what happened was, so he's telling me to get a surveyor and all this. And I'm saying, well, why should I do that? Why can't we just prove that, I want to I want to go off of the most recent document, right? Which would be that fence permit. It just makes common sense. And, they want to make it, that I'm not doing it. I'm not doing what I am supposed to be doing. But it's them that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So, um, the RV, as you can see there, is now well behind the line where the buildings are. So I can put a fence up there. Um, so, but he's telling me about a surveyor and this and that, telling me to work it out with my neighbor. The neighbor that's been calling the cops on me. So I said, okay, well, let's get him out there. Let's get him out here right now. I mean, he wants me to deal with them, deal with the neighbors. Well, I want to deal with the neighbors with the city present so they can see who's being unreasonable, me or them. Who's got something to hide, me or them? Who's making things difficult here, me or them? The city wants to say it's me because I have a big mouth and I don't like Jerry Dyer and I'm opening my big mouth. So I want to, 100% document that this is not me. I didn't start this bullshit. And I'm going live here. We're just going to see how long it takes for the police to arrive. It is, Monday afternoon. I'm sure it's not a huge, busy time for the cops. I even asked if a community volunteer person could come out, but they said no because it's a crime. It's an actual crime has been reported that the police have to come. So anyway, the code enforcement guy does not advise me to go on their property, to go up and knock on their door. Well, number one, I have never been trespassed from that property. To my knowledge, I have never been trespassed. I knocked on the door once, and I'm, talking to the code enforcement guy that's on the curb. And I knocked, like a normal person. And then I knocked again, and I was facing the screen door saying, can you please, code enforcement is here. Can we come talk about the fence? And the son, not the owner, the woman, his mother, opened the door, flung the door open, and immediately tells me to leave. And he has some pipe in his hand. And of course, I turned around and I am headed, toward the gate. Well, I'm looking back over my shoulder, and he followed me out. He could have stood there and watched me walk out the gate, but no, he wanted to intimidate me. And so he, was following me out the gate. So I'm turning, because I don't want my back to this guy with a pipe in his hand and holding up my recording cell phone. And he slaps it out of my hand. And I continued, I may have hesitated for a second, stopped, but then I continued to the gate and stepped off of his property. So it was all witnessed by this city employee code enforcement person. And I asked him to call the police, and he refused and told me to call the police. And I went, he was parked right there. I walked across the street to ask him to call the police, and he said, no, you call the police. I said, well, you stay here for a witness. And he refused to do that, and he left. So, if I had called the Fresno PD and they refused to come, which, they can't do that now because I've called the city attorney's office as well as 911, which I was reporting a crime, but 911 hung up on me and told me to call 621-7000. People. Now, why would 62, because 911 goes to them. It's just, it's a priority line. It's a bat line or whatever. You answer, those calls get answered first before 621-7000. So that 911 operator could have definitely took me out of the 911 system and put me to 621-7000, although she was not required to, I guess, if I am reporting a crime, correct? And I was assaulted, and it was witnessed. But she hung up on me and told me to call 621-7000. So what if I had failed to do that? What if something happened and I got distracted and I, didn't call right away? And then, I look out my window and he's gone. And so, what good is it for me to report the assault if he's gone? And then, a day goes by, maybe it never gets reported. So 2 people that work for the city know the assault occurred, but neither one of them is going to do anything about it. And both of those people are going to be held accountable for that. Because they work for us, right? Jerry Dyer, we the people, we work for you. Where are your police to take this report of this crime? And why can't one of your civilian officers take the report? 2 neighbors. We have to live next door to each other. Why would there be any violence or anything for a cop to worry about if, you stay in your house and your property and I'll stay on mine? and and just document. A security guard can document, right? Why shouldn't a we don't need I don't need a gun here on this property right now. We don't need anybody with guns here right now. So, I do not understand what's happening. Oh, Penny, I don't know. I don't know. I was assaulted. I went, I knocked on the door, well, like I just explained. I knocked on the door to try to talk to them while code enforcement is here on the property. So, I can ask some of my questions. Yesterday or Saturday, when the cops were here, they were saying to me that the short one, Ramirez, was saying that, the woman Josephine explained to her that they made sure that the posts that they set in the ground were like 2 inches back, so that they were doubly extra sure that they were on the property line or whatever. They never explained any of that to me. We never had any conversation like that when we originally talked about the fence. No, I told her, oh, well, good. I'll talk to your contractor, and I will pay the up, to get it a 6 foot fence. That little section to be a 6 foot high fence. But she went ahead and did it on her own. Behind my back, I didn't even get to know what day it was happening, so that I could, be prepared with my posts, because they need to be taller than these. And have them put in my posts instead of her posts. But she didn't tell me that. In fact, she wasn't even here when it happened, and Boy Wonder was asleep. So neither one, nobody was out there. I went out there because there were men in my driveway. I went, who is out here on my property? And when I realized what was happening, that they were putting the fence up, I went out there, out to my property, to my gate back there, way back there, and they aggressively said to me, "Where's your mask?" Like they thought it was all funny. And I still, to this day, do not know who those men were. I know that one of them lives next door. That they told me some long bullshit story. I got 3 different stories, actually, of the truth. So I have no idea what the truth is. And the police officers that did show up that day, way back when they put that fence up, never gave me the names of the men that were trespassing on my property. That just seems odd to me. I got the license plate of the truck, and then I found out later that one of them lives next door over there. Well, why didn't they even knock on my door? They knew that somebody was home. There's cars in the driveway. Did they knock on the door to see if anyone was home? Hey, we're going to be putting a fence up? No, they didn't. Somebody obviously not afraid of getting shot or getting hurt or getting any kind of trouble at all. Which they did not. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. See, this guy's leaving, I think. Let's see. Uh-oh. My sister just text me or something. But how do I read that? How do I see that? Does anybody know? I don't know. Okay, wait. Top chat. Let's see. Live chat. The cops are going to do anything. You'll be lucky if they don't take you in. Is that my sister? No, sis. Why would they take me in? I've been assaulted, and I've already thought about that. When they get here, I'm going to just tell them to go onto their property, and I will talk to them on the other side of the fence. Or, I have that area that is screened in, and I will be behind that area, and they will be on the sidewalk. They cops ain't getting nowhere fucking near me. Don't worry about that, little sister. I was assaulted trying to resolve the dispute between myself and my neighbor while an official, city official was standing here that is code enforcement that knows. So, why would they take me to jail? I can already prove, sis, that they have several false police reports on me. They called the cops and said that someone was living in that RV in July in in Fresno. Yeah, right. Not with no power, but they wanted to go inside my RV. Oh, like prove. Can I see inside to prove to me that there's no one living in here? Fuck you. Why don't you have the people that called in prove that you were? The police are on their way. The police are on their way, sir. What is your name? I am live streaming. You assaulted me and the police are coming. The police are coming to arrest you. What is your name? Well, there's his face. The police are on their way. See, look, people, look. Oh, he flipped me off. That's the man I returned his wallet with $93 in it. And it was up on my, on my porch. Like, it was 2 or 3 months after they moved in. So what I think is, Boy Wonder there came home fucking wasted out of his mind and was up at my door. I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is he dropped it on the sidewalk or something in front of the house, and some good Samaritan just assumed that it was the person that lived here, picked it up and walked it to my front step. But I don't think that happened, because it seems like they would have put it in the mailbox or something. They wouldn't just leave a wallet for anybody that comes knocking at the door to pick up. So I believe that he dropped it there, realized, oh, I live next door, and stumbled next door. Otherwise, two people that would not steal the money, touched his wallet. I don't think so. So, I just kind of recognized the driver's license that, well, it looks like it could be this kid next door. So the next time I saw the mom out here in front, I said, is anybody here missing anything? And, she immediately said yes. And, I said, what are you missing? And she said a wallet, something like that. I verified that she knew what it was. And I gave it to her. And I don't think the son ever, I never saw him, or she said thank you, but he himself did not. Never to me. Thanked me. That I can remember. I don't know. So when that was before they finished the little section of fence. The last little section, there's like 3 fence panels that was just no fence there. So on that day, I reminded him, that I returned his wallet, that, I am not a bad person, unreasonable person, but he didn't care. Wonder Boy didn't care that I'm upset because there's strangers, doing stuff back here on the property line, and nobody knows what's going on, and nobody tells me what's happening. Of course I would be upset. Of course I want to know what's happening right there on my driveway. Number one, just move the vehicle to make it easier for the work to get accomplished and without any fear of damage to, my property. But no, her people that she had to her fence were leaning their equipment on my property, on my RV. So, they had no respect whatsoever. And then, the police come and disrespect me more by not, giving me any names of anybody. So that little shithead left. So I guess we're not going to get his name, are we? Wow. 21 minutes. And I called the police probably 10 minutes before I started to go live, people. A good 10 minutes before I started to go live. So they're aware an actual crime has been committed. Now, there are no physical injuries. No physical injuries, but, if the city would have been more cooperative, then, maybe uh, there would have been no reason for any of this. But the previous owner, Angelica Lopez, a school teacher, did not pull a permit for this fence. She just put it up. And I think the reason that she did it this way, or did it that way and did not get a permit, is because I would have had to have some kind of input. I believe there would have been, some kind of, they would have notified me officially, something to that effect. And because of that, a government employee, if that is in fact true, if it is in fact true that, when the permit for the fence is filed, that maybe they require a surveyor. I'm sure there's some kind of process that they go through. So, all of this shit that I have gone through could have been avoided. And then Jesse Ogle, the guy that lived right there at the time, that, Officer Quisenberry went over there and spoke with him. And Ogle was very much aware of the animosity and the issues, property line issues, with these two properties, because he had worked up something for me as well. And then he became her listing agent. So, you would think that being a neighbor, being a real estate broker, Jesse and Tammy Ogle, and being my neighbor and on good terms, uh, up until that day, would have given me a heads up. And I went to real estate school, and I used to sell real estate loans. So I know, I worked around a lot of realtors, and, I know a little bit about it. And they 100% would have, come to me and just said, hey, we're putting the house up for sale, you know, and offered and or asked and or offered, you know, to for me to, spruce up a little bit, or, try to make the place look a little better. And I would have absolutely 100% understood that and cooperated with her 100%. But no, my neighbor that lived next door to me, we weren't on great terms, but we still managed to be civil over the animals. My dog, her dogs. When that's the only reason, the only time that we spoke uh, at all, and I just tried to avoid her, which was fairly easy to do because she's a school teacher. But if her dog was out, I had her. I would text her that her dog was out. You know, that kind of stuff. We were able to be civil to each other, even though we did not get along. Okay, um, but not keeping me out of not even telling me that she's considering selling the house, and that our mutual acquaintance and neighbor is going to be the listing agent. And I don't find out until the sign goes up. And that's when she took down the tree. It was like 2 weeks before that sign went up. The tree came down. And I'll show you the tree. But when I got arrested, and and then a week later they took me to the mental institution. One time when somebody asked me why I was in there, I said because of a tree and a fence, and that's the fucking God's honest truth, because this is the fence. Now at that time, it stopped here and went straight that way. Um, so the old Angelica Lopez built that stuff, and the new people built this stuff. And the tree that I'm talking about, that and that was in the police report from Quisenberry, is this tree right here that's growing back now. They cut it down. It was way high over the roof and over my driveway, and growing all weird because it was right up in that corner of the foundation. And after a while, I'm the only one that was trimming it, so it was getting trimmed weird, because I wasn't trimming their side, just my side. And then I started, like, I wouldn't trim it. I would just bend the branches so they would grow that way, because I got tired of being the one to constantly trim it and stuff. Ow. So I guess the police are not going to come and get this assault. Do I just continue to live stream until they show up?
He went outside. That don't happen.
All right, I just stopped live streaming.